If you can do this one thing, I promise you, you will progress faster than ever before. Dear fellow climbers, I'm back with the second part of the how I progressed from 6B plus to 7B video, and today I'm going to tell you exactly what I did in order to achieve this goal. First of all, I'm going to talk about my mentality, then my projecting tactics, and last, I'm going to talk about the training that I did in those 5 months. Let's start with mentality. In my view, this was by far the most important aspect. After my finger injury healed, I completely changed my thinking about what my goals were. I basically forbid myself to do any crazy training for a while now. I did not care about one arm pull-ups or hanging max weight, and after 3 years of climbing, I felt that I finally could put my ego to the side. This is very, very important. My ego has caused me slow progress, injuries, and everything bad that is connected to training. If you can do this one thing, I promise you, you will progress faster than ever before. The other most important thing that led me to this success was probably the most easy and most obvious one as well. This one thing hindered me in the past, and I think this is a problem that you face very much as well. It is simply trying a harder grade. I can't stress this enough. It is so important, and sometimes we are just afraid to try something harder, something that is out of our comfort zone, and I was there too. You could see in my last video, when I tried my first 7A, I just realized that it wasn't that much harder after all than my last project. So maybe that will be the case with you as well. Just try it. It will probably turn out that you are capable of so much more than you had thought before. My mentality towards failure and success has also changed very much. As I climbed more and more, I just started to expect much more from myself, and at this time I stopped this mentality completely. I was trying to start every single day with a really calm manner. My mentality was, I would really like to climb this rock. I will do everything in my power to do so. But if it is not that day, and if I don't climb it, it is not the end of the world. That piece of rock will be there in 100 years or in 1,000,000 years, and it was there before that as well. So you will have the chance and time to try again. And try to look at every single day from a different perspective. Try to find something that you have gained during that day. Something that you have learned, a little bit of beta, a very good movement that you perfected, or something that you can actually think of as positive, and don't be discouraged if you have failed in something. Fear of falling was the other aspect that I have improved quite some during this period. At first, I could be really afraid when I climbed after a bolt, and I felt that it just blocked my ability to climb. I wanted to change that. But I really didn't do anything special actually in order to stop it. I just went climbing. I think this is the most important one. You can do fall training as well. Sometimes I did, but actually just going rock climbing, getting more comfortable on the rock, and being confident in your abilities, that is what got me to not be scared anymore. I also noticed that if I only focus on small details, on every handhold, every foothold, how I step, how I turn my hips, the attention to detail will make your brain go out of focus and don't feel the fear that much anymore. Not knowing what you're doing is one of the aspects that fear comes from. The other aspect that on the sand go, if you know exactly what you want to do, you are going to be less scared. If you have every move dialed to perfection and you know it exactly, you will have a much easier time to focus on your climbing and not on the fear itself. It is also really helpful if you have particular situations where you got scared. Then just go to that crux, climb until then, and take a fall where you are the most likely to fall on your sand try. Get comfortable with that situation and maybe your fear will just go away. Next, I'm going to talk about my projecting tactics. When you are trying a new route, it is really important to maximize your chances of success and getting everything from that day that you can. Especially if you don't have the luxury to go to that piece of rock every second day or multiple times a week, you will have times when you just can't go and try a project for weeks or months. And it is really important to get everything out of those few tries that you have that day. I have watched a lot of good climbers talk about their tactics, especially Lattice Training has podcasts and videos all about this. I encourage you really much to have a listen to that because it is really interesting. So one of the most important things that I did is to make my life as easy as possible on the project. First of all, I just climbed with friends that are more experienced and a bit better climbers than I do, and possibly have tried that route before that I want to climb. I know it's probably not the best in every situation if other people figure out the beta for you, but if you would like to do your project as quickly as possible, then the best advice is to actually ask for help from your friends and ask them if they could share the beta with you. Figuring out beta is a really slow process, and time is really valuable when it comes to projecting. And obviously it is not going to be perfect for you. Every time I climbed something with my friend's beta, I always had to change something to actually optimize it to my body and my strengths and weaknesses. I also tried to be as efficient as possible when I try the route. It is really easy to tire yourself out when you are trying the moves. Try to optimize it so you don't have to repeat something unnecessarily and you don't actually repeat something the same way because you haven't thought about it before. If you fall or get to a crux, try to really think what you are about to do or where you have fallen, because every try on the crux unnecessarily will drain so much energy from you, and you will probably not have the energy to have a full sand go in the end of the day. If you would like to have a sand go, then it is crucial not to get too tired before that. It is not a shame to grab quick draws. It is sometimes so much easier to get up there from draw to draw, pulling on the rope, pulling on quick draws. It is not a shame. Do it, it will save so much energy and time. In most cases, I don't like to go for an on-site try when I know the route is out of my flash grade. It is not going to go well and you will probably get bumped and just ruin your chances for that day. So I recommend you, if you try a really hard route, just go red point style and bolt to bolt, try to project every move and get sufficient rest between going from draw to draw and trying the crux, because you will tire yourself out. It is also very important to warm up properly before your sand goes, not just the fingers and shoulders, everything that you will need for that climb. Try to think specifically. The other projecting tips that I can give you is actually remembering the route very well. Sometimes you will not have the chance to return for weeks or months. Then visualization is key for you. I have an Excel sheet with every single climb that I did in the past, and especially with my projects, I have every single detail written down in the Excel sheet, and I can look at it anytime I want. And actually writing it down will help you so much with your memory and visualization that you will probably not need the writing anymore. You will remember it if you write it down. Try to imagine yourself climbing the route before bed every day when you don't have anything to do. Just try to imagine yourself climbing a route. You will remember it so much better when you are actually standing under the rock. There is no better feeling when you have the beat dialed so good that you know for a fact that next time when you return rested, you will climb that route, and you actually do. That is the best. Confidence in your abilities and your beta gives you send goals. And last, I'm going to talk about my training and the climbing technique that has changed during this period. Training was probably the least important factor in my opinion, especially for the first few months. I haven't done any special training at all. I just went indoor bouldering and rock climbing. After I climbed my first 7A plus, that's when I started to think that maybe I should do some endurance training to supplement my climbing. If something, the lack of training was actually helpful. Before I did a lot of bouldering sessions where I just destroyed myself. Now I had a little bit less but more quality training sessions. Also, climbing outside became training for me as well. I haven't done so many inside lead climbing, so actually going out rock climbing was the endurance training for me. I felt it really much after a few months. But before I climbed my first 7B, I did some special endurance training. Mostly I did power endurance in the form of 4x4s or 6x6s. I just climbed 4 or 6 hard boulders that were pretty specialized, so I tried to pick crimpy routes because I knew that my projects were crimpy as well. I also was working in a small climbing gym at that time, so I had the luxury to go climbing when I wanted to and for free. It added so much value to my climbing because I didn't feel the pressure to actually climb more than I needed because of the money. So it was easier to get more value from every single session and don't worry about money. And the climbing gym in the early hours were sometimes empty, so I could traverse all the way and do some aerobic capacity work as well. My strengths, I don't think that improved so much. My endurance got a little bit better in my opinion. I could feel that I can do a few more hard moves after each other that could have played a role about how I could climb my first 2 7Bs. One other factor that also helped me a lot was actually getting a good pair of climbing shoes. The last fall, before these 5 months, I actually got my first pair of La Sportiva Squamas. It was a really great decision. I could feel every single foothold so much better, and I felt more secure and more confident in my stepping abilities, and I think this has improved my climbing technique by a lot. If you feel your shoes sticking to every single foothold and you don't feel that fear that you could slip at any time, then you need to pull so much less with the hands. You will have so much more energy. So this was basically everything that I wanted to tell you about how I got to my first 7B. And after that I realized that I probably have the potential to even go higher, but I knew that I will need more extensive training to do that. My next goal is climbing 7C last spring, and I'm going to devote my training this winter to do that. I am going to mainly focusing on endurance, some finger strength as well, because these are the factors that I probably am missing to do a 7C. I will have 3 months to train. I will not have to rush, so I'm going to do everything step by step. I have done tons of research in climbing training, and I have written myself a training plan for these 3 months, and I am really excited about it. If I will have some success with it, I'm going to try to do a video about that as well. Thank you really much for watching. I'm really proud of you if you have reached this point in the video. I really hope that you have heard something that could help me with your own climbing journey. If you have any questions about my journey, or maybe you would like to have some advice what to do, I am more than happy to help in the comment section. Please check out my other videos, and it helps me a lot if you could like my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. Goodbye.